Hello test. N4LQ, November 4, Lima, Quebec. CQ the 160 net on 1864, operating in lower sideband mode. On 1864 KCs, we meet here at night at 8 o'clock p.m. And we are, for the time being, on lower sideband. And once we get everybody checked in, we may be able to switch over to upper sideband and get away from all the noise from the AM station, which is on 1860, 4 KCs below us, and he's pretty wide. So in the past, we found that going to upper sideband pretty well alleviates the issue. But for the time being, let's go ahead and see if we can get some check-ins tonight. This N4LQ, give me a call with your call sign.
Well, I'll go W4JPL, Liberty, North Carolina.
I got W4JPL in Liberty, North Carolina. Anybody else?
Whiskey 4, Whiskey Charlie.
W4WWC. Okay, that's great. And N4LQ, any more check-in? Yeah, I know it's rough out there, so we'll keep trying here for a while and get all the check-ins and then switch over to upper sideband, and you won't believe how much better it'll sound. So go ahead and try to get your call in there. Anybody that wants to check in, anybody is welcome anywhere, as long as we can hear you. It doesn't make any difference. You don't have to be a paid member. If you want to send us money, that's fine. This is N4LQ. Call now. Was that N4WD?
N4IYQ. That's Chuck.
Oh, Chuck, N4IYQ. Okay, Chuck, yeah. A little rough right now, but it'll get better when we switch over. Anybody else?
WB4NKL.
B4NKL, got you there, Cliff. Anybody else want to check in? Give me a call, N4LQ. Figure about 8:05, we'll make the switch over to USB and see how that goes. I think conditions are really pretty good tonight, except for the AMer, and that happens every Saturday night quite regularly, and he has a broadcast where he's all by himself on there for about 2 hours talking about whatever he wants to, playing tapes and making noises and all kinds of stuff, and he's been doing it for years and years and years. But that's only on Saturday night. So this is N4LQ, listening carefully for any more check-ins. All right, I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and hit the USB button and see what happens. And I've got a couple of things here I got to change also to make this happen. So let's go ahead and go to USB. It's N4LQ, switching to upper sideband. All right, this is N4LQ on upper sideband, I do believe. Let's be sure we got everybody copying okay. Just give me a Roger if you copy, okay? W4JPL, how copy? W4JPL, you copy? Well, I don't know. How about Mark, WWC, you copy?
N4LQ from W4WWC. Yeah, I copy. It sure changed the fidelity, but I do copy.
The fidelity. Did my fidelity change?
Roger, roger.
Oh, well, I don't know. That must be your passband or something adjustment setting. Check your selectivity, I guess. See what happened. Chuck, IYQ, you there?
Yes, sir. Copy just fine.
Oh, beautiful. Okay. And Cliff, you there?
Roger. Good copy.
All right. So we lost John. I don't know if John is back in Liberty. Said he's in Liberty. So I guess he's back from the beach. W4JPL, do you copy? Well, maybe he'll come back here in a minute. After I don't know what happened to him. Let me switch back over to LSB and see if he can hear me. Hang on. All right. No, I just lost him. Got picked up mirror WF2U. So there we go. So I got W4JPL as first, and then W4WWC, and then N4IYQ, and then WB4NKL, and WF2U mirror, and then back to me for the time being. So I guess, Mark, go ahead and tell us what you've been up to today. W4WWC, N4LQ.
N4LQ, this is W4WWC. Well, good afternoon, or good evening, rather. Once again, yeah, I'll see what happened when you went from lower sideband to upper sideband. It turned the narrow filter on when I went to upper sideband on this transceiver, and I've got to find the friggin' narrow button here. There's too many buttons on this thing. I'm not fully used to it yet. I've not had this thing too long, but we'll get it figured out. But yeah, good evening, and I'm copying everybody quite nicely. So far, so good. I did hear the AM station splattering earlier, but overall, it was coming through pretty good. But we'll see what happens, and see if there's any more check-ins there. N4LQ from W4WWC. We're standing by.
All right, you'll turn it over to N4IYQ. Go ahead, Chuck.
Okay, N4LQ and W4WWC, N4IYQ. Mark's a little light on me, but antenna's down pretty low, so that's probably part of it. Good to hear everybody. Saw Mark and his bride at breakfast. We went to a Baptist church over in a little place called Sulphur Springs, just to the north of us. Had a good country breakfast and visited for a little while, and talked to Cliff a little bit on the phone today, and stayed around the house and played a little lazy today. Watched a little bit of football this evening, ate a little bit of light supper, so not a whole lot else going on here. On down to you, neighbor. WB4NKL, N4IYQ.
Yeah, N4IYQ, WB4NKL. All right. Seems like we're going against the stream here, upper sideband on 160, but whatever works. Good deal. Yeah, I haven't got into a whole lot today. I missed the breakfast with Chuck and Mark, but did get my walk in and got a couple Rangers fixed. So about all got done here. Started to look. I looked at the leaves and thought about raking them, but I didn't get to them. We'd worked on them a little bit the other day, and there's a lot more come down after the little rain we had there a couple of days ago. So that's in the future. Go ahead. I'll send it on around. Go ahead, Mayor. WF2U, WB4NKL.
All right, good. WB4NKL here. This is WF2U in northern Greenville County, South Carolina, for those who don't know. And signals are okay. There is still some stuff bleeding into here. I haven't had time to adjust the DSP on the transceiver, but signals are strong. I hadn't heard W4JPL yet when I broke in, but W4, let's see. Steve, you are about 15 to 20 over 9. W4WWC 59 plus 10. IYQ 59, and Cliff, you were also just about as strong as Steve. I'm running the SG2000 transceiver, which is, for those who don't know, is a military transceiver from the late 1980s, and the DSP was an option here. I have the DSP controller front panel. It's separable. Front panels are separable, and I have the DSP option here. It puts out 150 watts. I can't run my 1500 watt amplifier because of my high power antenna tuner flashed over in a place, and I haven't fixed it because right now it's ground. One of the coils went to ground through flashing over to a screw. So until I have time to do it, it's going to be 150 watts. The antenna is half-wave end-fed at about 50 feet. All right, I guess, Steve, it's back to you. N4LQ, this is WF2U.
WF2U, N4LQ. Well, you're hitting 20 over here, so, Mayor, you're doing fine. All the way from Landrum. No problem at all. And, yeah, I thought you'd have that tuner fixed by now. I know you're busy. Anyway, I haven't accomplished much here today at all. I just, I don't know, it's kind of a dreary day and kind of chilly, and we got some rain this morning, but it didn't really accomplish much. Matter of fact, it's still dusty under the trees, so the rain wasn't hard enough to even get through the leaves of the trees. I'm not going to complain, though. At least we got something, and that's better than nothing. Anyhow, everybody's sounding good here tonight, and I don't know if we lost John or not. We'll try again, but I don't know if he's still at the beach or if he lost his data connection or what. But we'll find out. W4JPL, are you still with us? Go ahead.
Okay, here I am. I had to fool with this radio a little bit with the filters. I was getting a lot of interference. But good evening, everybody. W4JPL, John here, and I'm in Liberty now. I came home today. Got home a little while ago, and I hooked this thing up. It was dreary. It was raining and cold, and the wind was blowing. So I looked at Maggie and I said, you know what, if we stay in this condo all day, I'm going to end up killing you. And she says, that's okay, because if we stay in this condo all day, I'm going to end up killing you. So we decided to pack up leisurely and come back. So we're back. I'm not going to complain about it. We had 6 wonderful warm days, and it just turned to crap the last day, and that's okay. We'll have this. So it just means I'll be able to go to church tomorrow morning. I think I turned this to Mark. I might be wrong, or W4WWC. W4 JPL.
W4 JPL. W4 WWC. Okay, John, yeah, I'm talking to you quite nicely. That time around, no problem at all. And Near, good signal on you. Actually, good signal on everybody so far. So I did find the narrow button on this rig, and it sure made a big difference in the audio. So yeah, we're running ST2000 here with a AL80 amplifier on a double loop antenna that's up, I don't know, maybe about 40 feet. And that's kind of what we got here. And we're running the DNU 2000 here, and looking at the band spread, everybody looks pretty good. And the noise floor seems to be somewhat quiet. So we can definitely use that all we can. And yeah, I was copying the AM station that was down the band there earlier. Could hear him pretty good actually. But I don't know. We'll see what transpires here for sure. Let's see. What have I done today? I did get some leaves blown up. I did do that and got some mulching done. And played AM radio on 3885 a little bit earlier, and been still doing some testing with this magnetic loop antenna. I was listening to Georgia football game just a little while ago before I disconnected that. I didn't want to Georgia thing with about 600 watts going into it with this, so we disconnected that. Been a pretty good day here, pretty pleasant and mild there. We've enjoyed it. And for IYL, I enjoyed the breakfast too this morning, Chuck. A lot of fun, a lot of good food. And Cliff, sorry you couldn't make it, but there will be others. And in fact, I think Limestone comes up. Limestone breakfast thing might be next Saturday. Keep this up, I won't have to do any more cooking on Saturday. I could get used to this. N4IYQ, this is W4 WW Charlie.
Okay, W4 WW Charlie from N4IYQ. I swapped around and changed rigs. And got a preamp on the receiver on this, so that helps a little bit. I got more of that go around from Mark. And John, glad you were able to make it in. Good evening all the way around. Of course, Steve, we appreciate you calling him. John and Mark, like I say, enjoyed it this morning. Neighbor Cliff, we missed you, but we'll see you soon. And Mir, good to hear you in there. We're on the Kenwood 570S now, driving the Alpha amplifier, run about 500 watts. Not driving too hard this evening. And on a 80-meter double bazooka tuned with the HF Auto tune. Not exactly resonant, but the tuners handle it, so that's all we need. And enjoy it. We'll enjoy it even more when we get the 160-meter wire. We keep talking about it, but we're going to get it up. We've got to get Cliff's end set up, too. I think he said he might even put it down at the new building, put the station down there, so we just have to wait and see. WB4 NKL N4IYQ.
Now N4IYQ is WB4 NKL. Okay, Chuck. I thought maybe you were on the new N-Fed. You're strong to me, but I guess we're pretty close. Probably be strong without the band conditions. I'm running the ICOM 7300 again with a amp supply amplifier. For some reason it only runs about 1200 watts peak, and it should run the full legal limit. I'm not sure exactly what's going on 160 with it. It's got three 500s in there, and it'll do it 1,500 plus on 75 meters. So it's something to do with the 160 meter tank circuit in it. 'Cause it does fine on the other bands, but I guess 1,200 watts PEPs should be enough. Not much else going on here. Just trying to clean up a few loose ends here in the shop. I think the Rangers are about done with, so it's time to drag out something else to work on. I have got the little Drake 2A that I picked up down at Lawrenceville. I've got it on the bench, taking the mods out of it. Somebody had modded the mute circuit, added a relay, and I couldn't get it to mute, so with the front panel control. So I'm taking all the mods out. Couldn't document what he was trying to do, so I've got a handful of parts I've taken out of it. Got the schematic, trying to put it back to original. So that's about the only project going on here right at the moment. Mary, sounding good up here. Good signal into Tennessee. WF2U, WB4NKL.
Yeah, Roger, Cliff. WB4NKL. This is WF2U. Yeah, very good. And John, you are 5'9" plus, up to about 10 in peaks. Let's see. Chuck, you went down you were 5'9" before, and you went down to S7 in the last transmission. Everybody else stayed the same. So, Cliff, you're still holding just like Steve. I was actually sitting with my dogs in the dogs' room. One was scratching the crate a little bit. I think he had to go out an extra time, and I'll let him out just in case. He usually doesn't scratch, but yesterday he got his monthly acupuncture, and I fed him while he was sitting the 15 minutes with all the needles in. I had to keep him quiet and not wiggling around. So I was feeding him some homemade liver treats, which are very, very rich. So we had a little accident overnight, and I just thought maybe his stomach is still a little bit upset, and so I was sitting there to make sure that everything that is okay, but it's fine. And what else? Did nothing. I actually did some paperwork today for my kennel club, and I'm responsible for one of the performance program awards for various activities. I just had to revise it a little bit with various new dog sports that are recognized, but I don't want to bore the crowd here with doggy stuff. Anyway, so I didn't do any radio kind of thing, except tomorrow I'll have time a little bit in the morning, and I have to check out my Gansa GE76 because I want to put that on the old Transnet, and I only had it on the air about a year and a half ago the last time. So I just want to make sure that something did go kaboom on it. I mean, something won't go kaboom on it like a cap or something while I'm putting it on the air. So anyway, so Steve, back to you. N4LQ, WF2U.
Okay, real fine, Mayor. WF2U N4LQ. Do we have any more check-ins? Like to check in? Drop your call now. We're listening carefully. Anybody? Okay. This is N4LQ. Well, that was a good round, and everybody was coming through. Mark was a little bit on the weak side there at first, but then you came up on that FT2000, sounding good. And John, you're sounding good. Glad you're back home. I can tell a difference in the audio. You don't have that low-end bass like you had yesterday. And I kind of like that. And I got your email about your microphone, and I replied, I believe that I don't see how you're going to interface that without a computer. So I don't know what role the computer is going to play in what it sounds like, but you could probably get the same sound by messing around with the bass level on the 7610, I guess. I don't know. I messed around with mine today, and I may have too much bass. I don't know. I've got a D104, and the preamp I got off of eBay. It's got a bass and treble control, and it fits underneath under the stand on the bottom, so I can adjust bass and treble on that, plus bass and treble on the 7610. So it's pretty versatile, and I've got another one ordered that'll be here Monday, another preamp board. It's just a tiny little board. You can imagine how small it is. I'm going to mount this one in a aluminum box and put a 1/4-inch stereo jack on each end of that box, and that way I can plug any of my mics into it and then plug a jumper cable from that into the mic jack on any of the transmitters, the LMAX or Johnson or whatever that have the same type of jack. The Johnson Ranger, I made an adapter. Rather than change the plug on the mic or change the jack on the rig, I went ahead and made an adapter that has that Johnson 2-pin on it, and it's got push to talk already built into the Ranger, so that's handy. And then the adapter got a couple of feet of cable that goes to an inline 1/4-inch stereo, so it's all ready to go now. So we're all set. And let's see, Chuck's TS570 sounding good. I'm worried about your double bazooka cut for 80 meters and the voltages that the coax that it's made out of might be experiencing. I don't know what might happen. It might get a flash through inside that coax. It's kind of an interesting situation, but it'll be good when you get your antenna up, though, for 160. And let's see here. I don't know about your amp there, Cliff. First thing I thought of was the match between the 7300 and the amplifier, and I wonder if you use the internal tuner on the 7300 to perform the match, or if it just happened to come out right anyway without doing that. So over to John in Liberty, where it's cold and rainy. It was too cold today. I didn't take a walk. I went upstairs and rode my bicycle that goes nowhere. W4JPL, N4LQ.
Okay, N4LQ, W4JPL. Hey, Steve, I increased the bass from -1 to +3. Does that make any difference, Break?
Well, surprisingly, not much. Let's see, you might, man, you would have thought that would really have made a difference. But I guess you could reduce the treble, but no, I didn't notice a whole lot of difference.
Okay, W4JPL here. Well, it wouldn't be too hard to interface that Marantz microphone with this radio. I mean, it's an Electret mic, so it's a stereo type plug on there, so I'd have to figure out which one is the voltage for the Electret, and you can power it right off the radio and just put a different PTT on it. So I could make it work. If this isn't objectionable, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Cliff, I was just wondering if you could give a quick summary on what you had to fix on those Rangers, just out of curiosity. And here I have in my hand my brand new Beatle albums. They came out with the red and blue albums that they actually remastered the old stuff, which is what I like, the early stuff. And I got them on records. Not much, I don't like digital. I like records. And these were half-speed masters on 180-gram black vinyl, and I got one of the first ones out. So I got something to listen to next week. And I've already listened to some of it because I did buy the CD of the early one. And when you buy that from Amazon, you can immediately download the music, and I listened to some of it. Some of them sounded good, some of them were disappointment, blah, blah, blah. So that's what's going on here at the Looney Bin. W4WWC, W4JPL.
Yeah, I forgot and had my selectivity turned down too far. So, yeah, you are more bassy. Maybe turn it down just a notch. Go ahead, Mark.
W4JPL from W4WWC. Yeah, John, I can, I definitely had a little more bottom there for sure. Sounds real good over here with me. Good audio and fine business on the vinyl there. Yeah, I've got a lot of vinyl here too, and that's pretty much, I've got a lot of CDs and reel to reel. I've got it all. Got 8-track, 4-track, quad-track, just about name it, and I've got just about every type of media that ever was. But yeah, vinyl's a lot of fun, and I've got a lot of it here. And I do not have the 180-gram stuff, though. I've been curious to find out what the difference is really in the fidelity versus the old stuff. I'd kind of like to know that. I've read some stuff, but I've never really broke down, and I just hate to pay $30 for something that I did in the 70s. I'd pay about $4. I've never done that. But yeah, fine business on obtaining the new Beatle stuff there. Congratulations on that. I guess I'm gonna bail out and go check my eyelids for cracks and get up in the morning and try to do something worthwhile, I guess. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed being in here. Appreciate you calling the net, Steve, and everybody sounding real good. And hope everybody has a great rest of the weekend. And possibly might be on 3885 tomorrow. Amir, good copy on you up here into northeast Tennessee. Good to hear you on here, WF2U, and look forward to working you again. And I'll pass it on around, say 73, but I will listen for a little bit. N4IYQ from W4WW Charlie.
Okay, Mark, W4WWC and a fine group N4IYQ. Still struggling a little bit. I guess Cliff and I are just close enough that it don't make any difference, and you're too close overall. But no issue in there. Same thing with Mir. I think I'm shadowed. The mountain blocks me from Mir. But usually hearing pretty good on AM when we're on 8. Hey, I'm going to get out of here. Got a few things to do before we get into bed. Certainly good to say hello to everybody tonight. Enjoyed it. Look forward to doing this a little more often. And maybe we'll get around to getting that antenna, Steve, and I'm sure it'll make quite a bit of difference. So on down to you, neighbor. Everybody have a good weekend. WB4NKL, N4IYQ.
Okay, it's WB4NKL, 73's Mark, 73's Chuck. And John, I could tell you cranked up the bass here. Sounds good. Steve, I hadn't tried the tuner. I guess I'll stick a meter between the ICOM and the amp supply. See what it looks like. It's not kicking the amp meter up very much at all on the amp supply. I'm running less than about 400 milliamps on peaks, I guess, and it kicks it up more than that on the other band. So it probably is the match between them. It does have a tuned input, but it might be tuned to the upper end of 160. So I don't know where that's at. I'll check it. Like I say, it's doing probably all I need it to do. John, the Rangers, one of them was a Ranger too, and somebody had been in it that didn't know what they were doing, and they had jumpered somehow they got the high voltage jumpered to the low voltage, so it was running 500 volts on everything. All the low voltage circuits had the 500, and that the old Chernobyl resistor had been changed out, but with that 500 volts on there, it got so hot it melted the solder going to the resistor, and then fell apart. And that's what made it quit. And evidently, it had been working with the 500 volts on everything, but I know it had some hum in it, so that was probably the source of the hum. But I got that changed out, and another little intermittent problem in the VFO that I traced back to a tube pin. So that got one of them, and the other one's a Ranger 1, and it had a 68K resistor that was on the screen of the buffer tube had changed to 2 megs, so it didn't have very little grid drive and only put out about 5 watts. So got that replaced, and that one seems to be doing all right now. So I got to get a hold of Virgil and OLJ down in Sweetwater. He brought them up here last week, and I think he's going to come back and pick them up, take them back to Norm. So might get Norm back on the nets there in the morning. See, I'm not sure about his antenna situation. He was going to try to get an antenna run into the house where he didn't have to go out to the Radio Shack, so I don't know whether that's been done yet. I think maybe Billy was going to try to go by and do that sometime. So go ahead, Mir. WF2U, WB4NKL.
Yeah, Roger. Very good. All around. And 73 sets. Your signal came up a lot before you finished. And Cliff, you just about peaked at 20 over 9. So, Chuck, your signal went up again to about 5.8, 5.9. Anyway, I was on the Midwest Military Radio Collectors net at 10 o'clock on 7296 upper sideband. Conditions were pretty bad. I think it was a little bit too early for the band to open, but we had several people on from all the way. Somebody came in from Maine. Was fairly weak, but readable. And then we got some Maryland, Pennsylvania, somebody from Arkansas, and Michigan. Those signals were not too bad, but not too many people joined. I don't know why. I don't know if there are any big campers around somewhere in the Midwest. But yeah, we're using upper sideband there because some of the older military radios only have upper sideband. Anyway, I put my Harris RF350 transceiver with a RF355 500 watt amplifier. Usually I'm on with that and big piece. But about a week ago we were 4 with the same setup. And that's really funny, but it happened. Anyway, I could have put this radio on 180, except I have a manual tuner that is already on 40 meters, and I just didn't want to change. The amplifier itself is auto-tuned, but it has to go into 50 ohms. It tunes itself to 50 ohms on any frequency. Anyway, maybe next time until I get the other amplifier back online, I'll just use the other antenna tuner and the other radio. So I don't have much other stuff, but so go ahead, Steve, and tell me what you're up to. What radios are you playing with lately? N4LQ. This is WF2U.
Okay, anybody else want to check in? Give me a call.
Hey, C4AA, y'all on upper sideband?
You are right. How you doing? Oh gosh, AC4AA, and almost forgot your name. Ron, yeah. Whew, just came to me. Yeah, getting too old, I guess. AC4AA. Yeah, that AMer down there gives us trouble, and we found that just switching over to USB takes care of that. And for you guys that don't know Ron, he's over there, was it Boiling Springs or somewhere over that way, not very far away from me. Go ahead and tell us what you've been up to, Ron.
I've been doing some electrical wiring, been working on family history and all that. I'm at the top of the hill from Caroline. Like you said, not too far from Boiling Springs. Right up the top of the hill from where the old Caroline, oh golly bum, what do they call them, the mill back a long time ago. I'm at the top of the hill from that. We've got an Ellenboro address, but I don't think we live in Ellenboro. We live over in over here in Caroline, right at the top of the hill.
Yeah, okay, that's not too far from Mir. Isn't that pretty close to where you do the dog training over there?
No. I mean, I go to Bostic.
Oh, Bostic, yeah. Well, it's kind of in the right direction. You're just a little farther away there, Mir, I guess. But anyway, all righty. Well, good to have you with us, and we've been kind of lax lately, so we're kind of running the net just a little in the more conventional roundtable fashion now. So we will, so we've lost a few people here. And I just want to say something to Cliff about that 7300. It'd be pretty easy to do the tuner thing. Just hold the tuner button in over there on the left for a second. It should kick it in. It should do the tune-up, and should be done. I would think that would be the first thing I'd try. And if your SWR meter isn't showing on the display, you can, as I recall, you can just tap it and it'll toggle between ALC and power out and voltage and everything else. Eventually get around to SWR. Anyway, John, W4JPL. I'm going to turn it to you real quick. And Mir, you asked what I've been doing. Not a whole lot. I got a Ranger from Ranger 2 from Brian, who got it from W4WU, who got it from K4DE. So it's been around. Anyway, I got that fixed up and on the air, but that's about it. And one of these days I want to get that T150 over here and give it a try. Go ahead, W4JPL, and I guess you'll give it over to Cliff, N4LQ.
Okay, N4LQ and the group, W4JPL. All right, well, fine business. I copy everybody very well now. There was a lot of interference when I first started. Had it narrowed down a whole bunch. I turned the bass down a little bit to +1 from +3. Hopefully that isn't making anybody's ears bleed. Fine business, Cliff, on the Rangers. Yeah, I hate it when people go in there with it's not even a magic screwdriver. It's a magic sledgehammer. It's crazy. And as far as the 180-gram vinyl is concerned versus regular records, at my age, it probably doesn't matter. And I don't have that high end of equipment downstairs in my stereo to make a difference anyway. You know, you're getting closer to 70, your hearing's not what it was when you're 30 or 40. Even though I still have, I'm blessed with very, very good hearing. I can hear a pin drop across the room. I'm going to say 73, boys, and get out of here for the evening. It's been a very long day, a lot of driving, and I'm going to go to church tomorrow morning, which means I got to play, so I need a little bit of sleep. Have a great evening, guys, and I'll maybe talk to you guys tomorrow during the day or during the night or whatever. Over to you, Cliff, WB4NKL, and the group, W4JPL 73.
Yeah, W4JPL, WB4NKL. Okay, John, you have to explain to me the difference between 180-gram vinyl and the regular vinyl. I'm not familiar with that the newer situation there. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on. Steve, I did flip it to SWR, and I'm showing about a 1.2, so it's a pretty good match. I'll try the tune there and see what happens in a minute. I guess that keys the amplifier also, just like you're keying the microphone. I would think. I'm running the amplifiers keyed off of the circuit coming out the back of the 7300. And let's see, good evening to Ron, sounding good from down that way. Sister used to live there at Boiling Springs, but she's moved up this way. I'm up in East Tennessee, in the Tri-City area. Limestone, Tennessee is a little town where I'm at here. And Mir, I'm familiar with Bostic. We had a railroad yard, Bostic Yard down there. So spent quite a bit of time down in that area. And we had a repeater on, or some radios on, I think it was Cherry Mountain out there from Bostic, on the mountaintop. So I wonder, I was trying to think, I guess there's a lot of open space around Bostic. I guess there's plenty of room for the dog stuff. I wonder if you know where the railroad yard is. WF2U, WB4NKL.
Yeah, Roger. And, well, okay, AC4AA, you are 59 plus 10 here in the Landrum area, northern Greenville County, South Carolina. And let's see. No, I'm not familiar with the railroad yard, but I crossed the railroad tracks, and there is a siding there with a couple of old diesel locomotives standing there. So I don't know if they are just stored there or they're out of service or whatever. But they are always there. And Midtown, I pass the center of town, like the main street, once in a while. I usually don't even go that way, but I go to the rural part of Bostic, and yeah, my herding coach that I've been working with her, she's also a judge, herding trial judge. I've been working with her about 14 years almost, and she has a farm with livestock, with sheep, ducks, geese, and goats, and that's where I train my dogs for herding and getting them prepared for herding trials, because I don't have any livestock. So after our horses all passed away, we didn't get new horses, and I tried to get my wife to agree to get sheep, but she was not very keen on it. She was absolutely against it. But it would have been more of a hassle than horses, because if you go for, like, you know, taking a vacation, there are a lot of horse people around that can take care of your horses for a few days. There's very, very few people that know what to do with sheep, for example, and how to take care of them. Also, it would have been pretty unsafe for them, because I would have had to get a couple of livestock guardian dogs, because there is some wildlife sometimes in the area, like sightings of coyotes and bears and whatnot. So even there might be some stray dogs sometimes, and you don't leave sheep without protection. So anyway, that's why I have to go. I go twice a week and train there. And she looks at me working with my dogs just as if I was at a trial, and gives me, like, for example, if you do it like you do X, Y this way, you're going to lose a couple of points and so forth. So, you know, I do the training, but she's just acting like a coach. In the beginning, she learned how to even handle my herding dogs and what to do. But, you know, throughout the years, I don't need that. I just need sometimes another pair of eyes to look at us. Anyway, that's the long story here. So with that, I don't want to bore again people with that kind of stuff. So, but thanks for asking, Chris. W4J. Sorry. N4LQ WF2U.
Okay, Ron, go ahead and make your transmission there, AA4 or AC4AA. Go ahead.
Alrighty, I have enjoyed it. I've got the meter switched to SWR to make sure that the radio is playing the way it's supposed to, and it is. Appreciate you letting me in. I thought I heard all the signal and everything. I was trying to figure out where everybody was at. Found you guys and enjoying talking to you. Got the cameras doing crazy stuff. Because I'm on the radio, got 100 watts, and it's right next to the cameras. But everybody have a good evening. I'm going to sit here and listen. I'm going to go ahead and clear, but I'm going to listen. AC4AA over here in there, and that's a nice little old place over there. AC4AA over here in Caroline, listening and clear.
Okay. Anybody else want to check in? It's getting kind of late. Anybody else want to join? No, okay. It's N4LQ. Well, that was a nice round, and we're down to just me and Cliff and Mir. So 73 is to everybody that checked out. See you later, Ron, and glad you could make it in tonight. and we'll be back on lower sideband as usual. It's just Saturday night that we have this little situation. Anyway, it's no big deal, and it's easy to push a button and just change things around, isn't it? Cliff, I'd forgotten we had a good QSO with you and Mark, and who else was there today on 3885? I forgot who it was. We talked about TR switches and the Johnson TR switch and all that, and I don't know about that thing. That's and Mir, we talked about the old Johnson TR switch and how hot it gets, and that thing is rated by Johnson to handle 4,000 watts. It's got a little low capacitor. It comes in off the antenna lead, goes into a grid of a 6B. What is that? A 6BL7 or something like that. 4,000 watts. Well, that's quite a bit of voltage, but I guess the capacitor they use must be able to handle it, and hopefully it doesn't jump into the receiver. But it's an interesting gadget. So yeah, I didn't get to see you, Mir, at the old friends lunch. We had a good time, and I guess the next one is coming up next month, second Thursday, I guess. So as long as it isn't snowing, we'll see everybody down there again. And Cliff, I hadn't heard Billy today at all, not on 80 or nor here. I don't know if he'll ever make it down here or not. It'd be kind of fun to have him on, though, see what he sounds like in sideband. So, yeah, 1.2, that's not much of an SWR. I don't know, you may be able to squeak a couple more watts out of it, but does it take all the drive you got to drive that thing? That's on sideband, you should have 100 watts. This amp drives with about, let's see, about 40, I think. Yeah, that's about what I'm running now, 40 watts into it. And let's see, hello, test. That's about 1,200 right there. I could run it up to about anything, but that's plenty. WB4 NKL, N4LQ.
Yeah, N4LQ, WB4 NKL. Yeah, it's three 500s, Steve, and on 75 meters into a dummy load, I've seen with 100 watts drive close to 1,800 into the dummy load, but it just don't do the same thing here on 160. So I don't know what's going on, but it could be something with the tank circuit. Like I say, I hadn't really got into it. I just noticed that was a characteristic of it. It don't seem to want to put out as much power on 160 as it does the other bands. And I shouldn't worry about driving it hard and blowing one of those 3500s, because they're hard to come by. And three of them, I'd hate to buy three new ones. So I'm not really wanting to push the amp any. Just let it coast along. Yeah, that Bostic yard was an interchange. The Clinchfield come down through there out of Marion, and then went on to Spartanburg, and then they interchanged. I guess that was SCL that went over. And that line might be abandoned now. I'm not sure, Mir. That might be where you're seeing the standing engines. It's probably part of it they don't use anymore, or it might be a siding. I'm not sure. Like I say, I hadn't been down there in about 10 years, so it could have changed a lot. Used to be a busy place. Years ago, we had a dispatcher radio there, and some more equipment that I had to take care of, and quite a few people there at one time. The maintenance way people worked out of that location, but it's maybe all changed since I've been there. But I do remember a lot of countryside around the area. It's out in the country. Go ahead, Mayor. WF2U is WB4NKL.
Yeah, okay, sure, very good. WB4NKL, WF2U. Yeah, okay, very good. Anyway, let's see. Yeah, I have to go in too. I'm going to sign off because time to let the dogs out before I go to sleep, and then I get them in back in. So take care, everybody, and it was fun, and glad that I could chat a little bit, and take care all, and Steve, thanks for running the show here. I'll talk to you probably tomorrow. Well, probably. I have said, even if the G76 is not going to be working, I always have the good old Yates with anybody. 73, all, have a good night and take care. This is WFTU Clear, 73. Go ahead, Steve.
Okay, Mayor. Yeah, real good. And it's interesting the comment you made about the sheep being higher maintenance than the horses. I had no idea, but personally, I don't really think I'd want to try either one of them. Horses are expensive to take care of, and okay, on the amplifier situation, I guess I'm trying to think back. I had a Ten-Tech Centurion that had a pair of 3-500s, and I never could get 1,500 watts out of those. And I was told it's the power supply is, I guess, weaker or a little bit lower voltage or something like that than some of the other amps. And you're doing good to get 1,000 or so. I know Dale W4AUV has one. I think he gets a little bit more out of it than I did, but still, you really can't tell much difference as far as receiving on the other end anyway. So yeah, Mayor, if you don't forget about that T150. I still want to try that. There's somebody that checks into one of the AM nets on 3885. I think it's the Mullet net. I think he's in Georgia, and he runs a T150 a lot, and that thing sounds really good, and I thought I'd like to try one. And one of these days, I'd like to also try a Johnson Challenger. I never have had one, and that's kind of an oddball rig Johnson made, the only one they made that had sweep tubes in the final, pair of sweep tubes of some sort. And they claim seemed like it was 90 watts input on AMs. I think you get a lot more power out of those things. I don't know. It'd be fun to play with, though. So I guess it's just you and me, Cliff, and I don't have anything pressing to do here. It's just whatever fits your schedule. Go right ahead. WB4NKL, N4LQ.
N4LQ, WB4NKL. Okay, Steve. 73, Mayor. These amp supplies, they made a LK500 amp, Steve, that had a pair of 3-500s, and it had the transformer internal. And then they come out with this LK550, and it's got 3 3-500s, but they didn't have room for the transformer anymore, so it's got an external Peter Dowell transformer. It's a pretty good chunk of metal. It's a heavy duty. but it just runs about 3,000 volts on the plate, looks like. Meter reads 3,500, but it's sitting on 3,000, and it don't drop much when I modulate. It's pretty stiff regulation. But like I say, you can see quite a bit more power on it, the lower bands. It probably would help it if it had a little more voltage, but I'm not going to push 3,500. They're too expensive. Hope they last as long as I want to keep the amp. I bought this amp from a friend of mine. He got it from somebody, and he had a whole pile of 3,500s. I forget, there was about 10 of them. And I went through them and picked the 3 best and put them in the amp and sold. Well, some of them were just plain bad, and then I sold the other good ones. So I maybe have got one spare 3,500 laying around here somewhere. I was working on this Drake. It's got about 3 of those, it's 5 Black Beauty capacitors with the stripes on them. I'm going to have to change those out. I just got unhooked one end of one, put it on a meter, and it's got quite a bit of leakage. So those things are going to have to go. So that's another little job I need to do on the Drake. N4LQs, WB4NKL.
Just 1 second, Steve.
Go ahead, Mayor.
Regarding this, I forgot to tell you, regarding the T150, I started to look for it when I stopped because I remembered that I actually sold it at the amp test a couple of years ago. I took it on once to get rid. I think I forgot which one, but you might have been even. Maybe 2 years ago or so. I know, because I know where I put it, and it's not there. Then I remembered that actually I sold it for I think $50, as I remember, or something thereabouts. So I'm sorry, but I don't have it, and for some reason I thought that I still had it. I'll keep my eyes open for you. For 173. Have a good night, everybody. WFC is here.
Roger. Okay, that's no problem. I just, get the urge to try all these little transmitters and see how they work, and I thought I'll try one of those again. The last time I tried one was in 1965, and it got me a pink ticket because of harmonics, but I think I just had it loaded up on the wrong dip on the plate current. That's all it was. So, yeah, you go ahead and just forget we ever talked about that, and I will too, and we'll just kind of look around. I'm not going to make a whole lot of effort to find one. Anyway, we'll find on the LK550. So that thing has 3-500s in it. Man, that's pretty impressive. That amp supply, they made a lot of interesting amplifiers. Have you ever seen or had one of the type that's broadbanded? I think it's all it is presets. You ever seen one of those, Cliff?
No, I haven't, Steve. The only 2 I've ever messed with was a friend of mine over here had a LK500 that I worked on a time or 2 for him. He's a silent key now. I don't know what happened to the amp, but and this one. It's the only 2 I've ever messed with.
No, okay. I think they did make one that so-called broadband, but really it's just some presets. I think you go in there and set it up for different portions of the band, but I've heard they're not too good. I don't know, but anyway, yeah. Well, this amp is LD Moss, and so far it's only had one hiccup, and that was my fault because I tried to operate into the wrong antenna, and it popped the 160 capacitor in the low pass filter. But that was easy to fix. I just ordered a new one from Mauser and soldered it in there. That was no problem at all. If that's all that ever happened, I'd be glad. But the manufacturer told me that they actually didn't intend to use that capacitor. They had run out of the desirable capacitors and put those in place of it. And I guess they weren't too sure what would happen. Well, that's what happened. So the one that they recommended to use was a bit more robust. Anyhow, and okay on the Black Beauties. Yeah, I wonder what it is about those things that had such a bad reputation. But they sure got one, didn't they? N4LQ.
Yeah, they were just paper capacitors, and they tried to seal them up, I guess, a little better, which evidently didn't work out too good. I think those things were bad, years ago, not long after they come out, that started showing up. I guess the worst case of those is SP600. I don't know if you've ever recapped one of those, but you'll know it when you get done. It seemed like 60. I'm thinking 63 of those things in the SP600, and you got to pull the RF deck out to get to a bunch of them, which isn't real easy. So I've done about 3 of those, and I don't ever want to do another one.
No, I had a 600 for a while, and it was working. I wanted to get into the, I forgot what that section is. It's up on the top right-hand side, and I had reason to get in there. I don't know if it was a dirty switch or what it was, but I could see no way to get into that mess, and I just didn't mess with it. It kind of reminded me of how the SX28 is underneath, and that underneath the switches there's a no man's land you can't hardly get to. Anyway, I like rigs that are easy to work on. That's one reason I like the LMAX.
Yeah, that's a good thing about them. Yeah, that RF deck on that thing, it's something else. I think there's about 6 or 8 cloth-covered wires that go into the main radio that the insulation starts falling off of on the old ones when you start messing with them. And then you got to unsolder all the leads going to the tuning capacitor. There's about, and grounds, seems like there's about 10 of them. So when you get it out, you might as well, you change all the capacitors, and then most of the time I change most of the resistors too, just to be on the safe side, and put new wire on it to go back into the radio, Teflon wire, so that that'll never be a problem again. But like I say, I don't. If somebody approached me now, I'd say no way. 3's enough. I think one of the later versions had ceramic disc in it, the 21 or something, but all the early ones had those Black Beauties in them.
Yeah, I guess Hammerlin switched over to ceramic disc before some of the other ones did. I know my 110 is that way, and the 170s, it's all ceramic disc, and I never had any problem with them. They very seldom have a ceramic disc go out on you. But I certainly don't think I'd put all that work into a SP600. I just was not that impressed with that radio. I guess it was okay on AM, but on CW the BFO was too weak, and you had to ride the RF gain control all the time on it. And I could not figure out why Hammerlin did it that way.
Now, it was a good AM receiver, like you say. It's 2 RF stages and all kinds of IF gain. But no, they're not the best, and the dial's not calibrated for the ham bands, and it don't have a band spread, so you know it leaves some to be desired. But it is I've still got one, and I like it as far on AM. And I think the later models they come up for product detector in one of the last ones. It's probably a little bit better on sideband, but still no calibration. I've got a little frequency counter that, well, it's not a frequency counter. It's a DDS that David ordered one of them. I ordered one of them, and it's a DDS that generates a local oscillator for your receiver. It'll transmit on the frequency you got dialed up, and then it's got an output 455 away from that. So I thought about hooking that up on the SP600 and using that for the local oscillator instead of the BFO that's in the Hammerlin. and you could use it on transmit also. But hadn't none of them projects I hadn't got around to, Steve.
I think we talked about this before, about that DDS that Mark let's see, what's this called? KC4IUQ or whatever it is over here, not too far from me. He's got one that he got from China on eBay, and he discovered through I don't know, searching the web and all this, and he finally found out how to key the thing. So it'll switch from transmit to receive. It's even got a T and an R that show up on the dial on the display, and all you do is you can preset it to offset whatever you want. I think he offsetted it for quite a bit, you know, like 50 kC or something, just to get the VFO out of the way on receive so it didn't interfere with him. And he's using that to inject into the AF68. I think it works out pretty good. I was glad to hear that. And they're still available on eBay for $25. Can't beat that deal. And as far as the old Hammerlins, I like the variable bandwidth, that continuously variable bandwidth on the old Super Pros. You know, the original Super Pro and the what was it? I guess about the 200 or the 400. I'm not sure when they switched over to a preset bandwidth.
Yeah, I think it was on the 600. I think the 200s and the 400s had the mechanical link and IF that varied the distance between the coils. I've got I think mine's a 200. It wasn't the military version. It's the actual SP200. I picked it up at Orlando one year. Guy had it on his table there, and it looked real good, and it had the power supply and the speaker, and I said something about it. I figured he's going to, you know, I asked him how much he wanted for it. I figured he's going to say 150, 200 or something. He come out with $20. So I bought it, all of it, speaker and all, for $20. And then the time I got it all carried to the car, I about regretted it.
I bought one at a Hamfest somewhere, and it was the original Super Pro, and I don't think it had a number after it. Just said Super Pro on it, and it had that big old heavy power supply outboard, and somebody had put it in a low boy rack cabinet, and it had some wheels on it. I played around with it for a while until I sold it, but I did like that tuning that the bandwidth adjustment on it. I don't know if it was better or not, but it was, to me, it seemed better than the crystal filter. But I guess they just, did the 600 bury the actual bandpass of the coupling in the IF transformers, or did it just totally rely on the crystal filter?
They had some taps. It was electrically switched taps on the coils. You know, but it was switched in with the rotary switch, and then you had the crystal filter in addition to that. But they didn't no longer varied the distance between the coils. They just had different coils in there they switched in. That was, you know, the coupling changed.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, my voice is about to give out tonight, I guess. I need to get off here and get rested up for the old friends net tomorrow. And hopefully tomorrow afternoon I can get out and take a walk. It's supposed to be sunny and about 60, so that's perfect.
Yeah, good deal. I got my walk in early. I thought I got some 2-meter rigs I was working on for a feller, and I thought he was coming this morning, and I got out early and walked. It was still a little chilly. But once I get to moving, I don't notice it so bad. But he never did show up, so I could have waited later. 73, Steve. Enjoyed it, and we'll try to catch you on the old friends net there tomorrow evening. Have a good night. N4LQ, WB4NKL.
Yeah, after the first mile or so, I warm up real good, and then I get too hot. But it's kind of miserable when I first start out sometime. Okay, good talk to you, Cliff. 73s. Thanks for showing up tonight, and had a good time. WB4NKL, N4LQ. Be clear.